Test, test, test. Let me see if everything is working. I think we're live now. Let me send some post notifications. On social media. Very quickly. So let me see, post something on Facebook so they know we're here. So hopefully now people will see it and come rushing in. Welcome everybody. So we'll wait a little bit for viewers to get in. Second, let's talk about bird session. If you didn't watch the last one, you can see it back on YouTube. In this session we were just talking about birds. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube later. Oh, there goes my camera. If you're watching this on YouTube later, then just ask your questions in the comment section and I will answer them there or in a new live video. So I want to start today with a fun fact. Thought it would be funny to start with some fun facts every live stream. I've did this in the past for the videos. So maybe some of you will notice if you watch the OG videos of like 2 years, 3 years ago. So the fun fact of today I selected is this one. Colombia is the #1 country in the world to have the largest varieties of birds, having about 1,876 species, which is a lot. I looked it up for the Netherlands, where I come from, and it's only just 500 species seen. They're not native here, but only seen here. And I think the 1,800 is native species. So that's quite a lot. let me know in the comments where you're from and if you come close to this number or not. So I think that's a fun thing to do. If you have any cool facts, also put them in the comments. Maybe I will use them next live streams. I think it's always funny to see these fun facts. So as you can see, there's we have the Gouldian Finches again. A little bit has changed. I put some nest boxes in there. I'm not quite sure. I think some of the Gouldian Finches are really in breeding conditions. And I also found an egg. But other Gouldian Finches are not really into breeding conditions yet. But since this morning when I put them in, the live stream was on. So you could see them visiting, especially the one in the back, which is now also inspected by one of the Gouldian Finches. And there's already breeding material in there. So that's good hope. And we will just wait and see if things can happen. There is already a little bit of fights going on between the males. Because they all of them really love the ones in the back. And a quill also wants to get in the live stream at the background. So we have a couple of viewers already. If you have any questions, put them in the chat and I will answer them. So we had the fun fact, which will be a returning topic. And I thought today it would be fun because one of the viewers from the last live stream asked these questions in the chat. He asked him in the live stream when I wasn't there, was how I did get into breeding finches instead of hookbills. So that's one thing I want to talk about today. I will just check a couple of things before I continue. Yeah, all going well. There's a little bit of a delay in my recording setup and the actual live stream, so it's hard to see if everything is working, but I think it does. So how did I get started with finches? There was a question of chirps of praises. I think he's not here, but maybe he will join later. Then he has to look it back. But I started with finches roughly, I think, in 2009. Before that I had a budgie named Kiko. It was very tame. It was always on my shoulder and by my side when I was at home. And I really loved having a bird. And then I get to my uncle, and my nephew had just built a new aviary. And they got into Australian finches, zebra finches, long-tailed finches, also called shaft finches, I think, in some countries. And I was immediately hooked. So when I got home, I told my parents I wanted an aviary too. I was, I think, around, let me count, 15 years old? No, 18, I think 18 years old, around that time. And I still lived with my parents, but they unfortunately said no. But after a while, My dad also got into it and always had canaries in the past. So we should give it a try with a small aviary. I think it was 1 meter by 1.5, maybe 180 meters. And yeah, we got some long-tailed finches. We got a zebra finch. We got silverbackies. I have to check the English African silverbills, which were doing really good. And this was also my first ever species I bred successfully. In the next, I think, 2 years, we made the aviary bigger by 1.5 meter. So we got hooked, my dad and I. I went to college, so I couldn't be there all the time, but my dad took care of all the birds. And in the weekends I get home, cleaned them, did all the preparations for the next coming week. So my dad could feed them and give them drinking by a schedule. And slowly we learned more and more about these finches. Then I moved out completely, got an apartment, which was far too small for finches. So I got a budgie from a friend. Again, this budgie was a little bit older already. It was very difficult to tame. And we had a balcony, so I decided to make a small cage and got some quails. I really loved that, and that's where I started this YouTube channel. I think the first couple of videos are all about the quails, which I had indoors and at my balcony. And the cage I built and still use in my, and also which is coming back in my videos, is the one I built on my but as you can hear, it's not all finches. I still have 2 Aymara parakeets in my living room right here. So it's not all finches, but I started with the quails on my balcony again. My dad was still having the finches at my parents' home. As it was a little bit of a, how do we call it? Easy. I didn't learn a lot more. I just went home, cleaned them, hoping for the best, but didn't see them that much. I will try to make him a little bit quieter. So that's how it turned a little bit down. I started with the YouTube channel, posting like 1 video every 3 to 4 months, I think. And eventually, like, I think it's now almost 4 years ago, I moved to a new place, which is where I live now. And finally had some space for an aviary, and that's also where my YouTube series started to build up every other week. And well, the aviary, you can all see, it's still the same as then. There's a lot of videos about it, how I made it, that I released the birds, that I cleaned it. And yeah, that's how it all started. Then the question why finches and not, when I had budgies, why I didn't go to hookbills. Mainly because I really liked the colors of the finches. They looked a little bit easier then. I still have hookbills, but I think they're a lot bigger, more room. So that's why I decided for finches. And another reason was that my neighbor is not very fond of the noise. So that's why my parakeets are inside the house and not outside. So the species that I've had were the zebra finches, African silverbills, long-tailed finches. We also had some, I have to look it up, roodkop amadine in Dutch, red-headed finch. Well, that's easy. So the red-headed finch I had for a while. I had the button quails. A short while I had some jungle bush quails. Unfortunately, the male died very quickly. And short after, when I was looking for a new male, also the female died. I got a new pair relatively quickly, but the same happened. I didn't know why. I couldn't see anything on the quails. So I decided to stop that for a while and first check out what was happening. I had the owl finches, which I still have. The star finches, which are, you can see in the new video, are not here anymore. But in upcoming video I can tell you the whole story about that. I had Gordon bleus, parrot finches. I had the three-colored parrot finches and the I have to again look it up. I only know the blue-faced parrot finch. I also had that one. I think that's it for the whole list. If you ask me what my favorite species of them all was, the Gouldian Finches, of course. I also had the Gouldian Finches. And the society finches, I almost forgot. So if you ask me what my favorite species is, I think it's hard. I really like the Gouldian Finches due to their color. But most of the time they're very shy, sitting on a branch, not doing anything. And the species like the silverbill or the society finches were the less expensive finches, but also more active, more exploratory. I really like that, to see that in the aviary, how they dive into a bush and that kind of stuff. So that's how I got into finches. I'm still more into finches than parakeets or hookbills. One of the reasons is the noise, as you can hear right now. I have two of them, and they argue a lot. This is still very quiet, but it can still make a lot of noise. And the sounds of the finches are subtle and also still beautiful. That's also the reason why I don't have canaries. My dad has canaries, but if I had two canaries right here, then my neighbor would become very angry, and maybe then I have to get rid of my whole aviary, which I don't want. And my nephew and my uncle stopped having finches after about 2 years, but I continued to do that. And also now my uncle, my nephew is not at home, doesn't live at home anymore, but my uncle just got back into finches again. So that's very cool to talk with him about finches and share it a little bit. And I also learned a lot from a friend of my nephew. He was already into finches. He had a lot of cages, a nice bird room. And that's where I really fall in love with the finches and with all the colors they had. And then now the plans I have, I also already mentioned it in the last Let's Talk About Bird sessions. I have this aviary. The breeding season just had started. It's February. For the people who watch my videos for over a year know that I start in February. And so I started the birds with more light, more food, more variety of food. Also increase the temperature, etc. And next coming month they will get their nest boxes. Only the golds have their nest boxes at the moment, and that's because they are really in breeding season. I just had a mite infection, so that's why I removed but I found 2 eggs already, and I don't want them to get egg bound, so if they are really ready for it, they can now use the nest boxes again. So we have to wait a couple of weeks to see if they really are into breeding conditions already. But the males already have a really bright red tip of their beak, and the females do really have a black beak already. So it seems like they are ready for the breeding season. I have to look up this, yes. So what I've watched during my work, I watched a lot of the live stream myself already. And what I could see is that the black-headed, white-breasted male is very interested in the nest box completely at the end of the aviary. And you can just see that the purple-breasted male redhead is coming out of it and also very interested in that one. So there's a little bit of a fight now and then today to decide who is gonna get the nest box. And then I get it. So that's really fun to see. And I just checked them, got them some food, and I saw that there were already nest material inside the nest box. So that's within a couple of hours already. So I'm very curious how quickly we will get some eggs and if they are infertile or fertile. But we will check that in a couple of weeks. There's also some bad news. One of the Gouldian Finches was sick, and with the mite infection I think it was too much. So she unfortunately died, so I only have 5 Gouldian Finches at the moment. I'm still looking for a pair, and I'm not quite sure what I want. Do I want equal amounts male female, or do I want more males more females? There's a lot of research about that, but yeah, people are having different opinions. Some people say the females are choosing the males, so you need to have more males. Other people say no, you need to have more females than males, otherwise the female get harassed too much. So now I have 5. So I have 3 males, 2 females. Until now it's going really well, but the breeding season is just started, and since today I only put the nest boxes up, which is another cue for the birds to really get into the breeding season. But we will see. We'll keep a close eye on them. Both females are a little bit scratched up due to the mite infestations. They scratch their face a lot, so it's the feathers on the face are a little bit gone. But it seems like the mites are gone. I treated them every week with mice and lights, cleaned their cage roughly every week, and it seems like they're now gone. As you can see now, that the males are chasing each other. There are 3 nest boxes, so every male can get their own, but we will have to see who will win this fight. And I will keep an eye on if it's getting too much for the birds. But for now, this is normal behavior. So for the rest of this season, I want to breed with the mannequins, which I didn't call in my list of birds. I also had the chestnut-breasted mannequins. Last year we hadn't success with them, but they were very young, so that could be why they didn't breed at all. I know I have 1 male, and you could see that the white-breasted Gouldian Finch had some nesting material in his mouth, so in his beak, not his mouth. So they are really working hard. So the chestnut-breasted mannequins I want to breed. I definitely have 1 male. I see him sing. So hopefully the other one is a female. And then I can breed with them. Of course, the owl finches. Last year I had some doubt because they can be very aggressive with during the breeding season. So I have some doubt if I could keep them. But they are my best birds last year. Last year they had 2 nests, and the year before that they also were the only one with 2 nests. So for now they are inside the bird gallery, housed as a couple. So until then, of course, I will breed those. I have the parrot finches, which also I didn't have much success. We had some nests, we had some eggs. All the eggs were infertile, so I switched the male for another male, and then we had a nest with fertile eggs, but that was at the end of the season and the female stopped incubating the eggs. So hopefully this year we had some more success with that same pair, which I now know do have a click because they had a nest last year. And we have the society finches. I give them 1 more chance. Last year the female laid only eggs without shell, so she gets a little bit more calcium during this preparation phase to see if it's a defect of calcium deficiency or that is really just a malfunction, if you can call it like that, of the bird. Otherwise I will get a new pair of society finches. So 4 couples in the bird gallery, plus these 5 Gouldian finches, and of course the quails. That's what I have at the moment, and I just started, as I already mentioned, to get some preparations in, which I will make a video about again. And then for some big news, as I mentioned last time, I was looking for property and was working on a property that's now almost completely set. So I cannot 100% sure, it's not 100% sure, but it looks like 95% sure that I get a new property with some more room indoors, but also some more room outdoors. So I can get some new aviary, a bigger aviary, maybe even more aviaries. I can get a bigger bird room. That's also why I don't buy new birds this season. I do it with the birds I have at the moment, because the move is going to be really stressful, which will be around May. So hopefully I have 1 round of chicks completed then. And at the end of March, beginning of April, I'll also remove all the nest boxes with no eggs, no chicks, so I don't have chicks or eggs when I have to move the birds. It's lovely to see that I also put some hay on the ground for the quails. Sometimes some couples make a nest as well, and I now see that the Gouldian Finches also are using that hay as nesting material. Or the straw, I don't know. I always don't know the difference in English. I also don't know it in Dutch as well. So we get some new property that's coming this year. Hopefully we get some nests before that. Hopefully I can move the birds relatively stress-free. So I have to come up with a plan to move the aviary, move the birds, move the cages without too much stress. The aviary is now empty for the winter, so that helps. The birds will not go outside anymore in this aviary. What I'm gonna do is quickly disassemble this aviary over here and then go to assemble him at a new property quickly, so I have all the time to build a new one. Then I will go inside the aviary, and I got a lot of things to do before the bird room is ready. I have to get in contact with different kinds of contractors to make the space good enough for the birds. So that will take a couple of while, and also building the aviary, I want to take my time for that. So I'm just quickly putting this one over at the new property, put the birds in, and then I have all the time to think of a new aviary, get some plans, see where the sun is, see where the rain is going, etc, etc. But I think it will be a fun year with some new challenges, new birds hopefully. If the bird room is ready at the other location, I will get some new species. So if you have any suggestions, put them in the comments so I know them. Come. And you also want to go on the... As you can see, next to the dog which invaded my live stream last time, we also have a cat. We have two of them. So we have the whole... so we have fish, cats, dogs and birds. Which is very fun. So we definitely needed more room. So it was very hard to find new property at the moment. I think everywhere in the world, but especially from Europe, the house market is is blowing up a little bit. There are far more people who want a house than there are houses available. But we managed to get a good one, we think. So I'm very happy about that, but a lot of work. So around April, May, also the live streams will get shorter, or I will skip a couple just because to get everything done in the new house. We have to do a lot of work there. So, but also a lot of new videos. I take you along with the whole trip of getting ready, moving the birds, getting them into the new house. Hopefully this year we will get also the new birds already. If we get a contractor, it should be very quickly that we can get the bird room ready, so we get some new birds. But we also have to see about that. Let me see. Everything is still working. So that's my story. So English is hard. That's my story, and also how I want to continue with this hobby. That's a sneak peek, which you will get only here at the live stream. For now, everything seemed to go very right for this breeding season. As I'm looking at it now, the Gouldian Finches are very excited to start breeding. So that's good. They're going in and out into the nesting box. Unfortunately, they chose the same nesting box. I would have preferred that they choose 2 nesting boxes, but maybe we won't give up. I have 3 in there now. If I see that they are really fighting over one, I will put in more. But I put these 3 in because I have 3 males, and these 3 are inside of the shot. You can see the female now here, which is a little bit scratched up at her face due to the mite infection. But I had a really close eye on the live stream and my camera, and it seems like she's not scratching that much anymore. So now it just has to heal a little bit. And I think we have to wait for the next molts for it to come back. The red-headed male which is singing in front here, also just like the other female which unfortunately died, has a little bit of a bald spot on the end of at the back of his neck. I don't know if that will, it's not spreading out, so it's not getting bolder. So I think it was close, but also the mite infection and my treatments didn't affect it anymore. So I hope it stopped. And with that, we also just have to wait for the next molding season for it to come back. If you have any tips on that, just please put them in the comments below. How to stop it or how to prevent it. I've looked on the internet that it could be many things. Vitamin shortage, calcium shortage, just almost every health disease could be an effect of getting bald. They are inside, so I give them extra vitamins and minerals, which because they are not in direct sunlight and can't make vitamin D, so I have to add vitamins to their diet. But especially last week, it's going pretty good. He's singing a lot, so that's also a good sign. So we have to see. But yes, for the breeding season, that's what I was talking about. The society finch has really started to sing like 2-3 days ago. So that's a good sign. Here we see the male with nesting material. That's a good sign. The parrot finches don't show any signs yet, but I'm just started with cranking up their food and variety of foods, so that will take a moment. But it's really the change, the couple of weeks in sounds coming from my bird gallery is amazing. Before this, you only heard the quills sometimes, and sometimes you heard one bird sing, and now you can really hear the birds singing in the morning and in the afternoon a lot, like you can hear now. Especially the purple-breasted, both redhead, so the white-breasted and the are singing a lot. I haven't seen the black-headed white-breasted, which is building the nest at the moment, sing a lot, but yes, I was a little bit in doubt about if he was in breeding condition, but seeing him building this nest shows that there is some breeding behavior there. Well, the society finch started singing. The owl finches I also heard singing very quietly, but so a lot of songs already. Until now I didn't increase the temperature, but it's a very mild winter here in the Netherlands. So it's like 15 degrees at the moment in the bird gallery. So that only has, it's better to have 20 degrees, but a lot of Gouldian finches and African finches are bred by 15 degrees Celsius. So we'll take a look at that, and otherwise we put on the heater. I don't know if you can hear this sound. But I can't do anything about it because that's my neighbor. So hopefully you don't hear it as much as I do. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment below where you're from and which time zone you are. It's always a little bit difficult to see when to start the live stream because of the different time zones around the world. This morning there was someone from Pakistan. I don't know what the time is in Pakistan. I will check very quickly. Well, it's 7 p.m. so that's still an appropriate time to check out the live stream. But I want to know when you would like to watch the live streams. At the moment, I've done it now 2 times in the afternoon here in Europe. So it's now 3:15 in the afternoon. I want to do some of them I want to do in the morning, maybe a couple of them in the evening. We don't have the Gouldian finches, only we can watch them sleep because there's night vision on this camera, but it's very quiet. So we have to see about that, but you can also do something later in the evening. Just comment below what time zone you're in, so I can check that a little bit to see when I start live streaming. I will mix it up a little bit next coming weeks. I will live stream like, I think, every other week. I will try to live stream. And I will do this at weekdays. I will start the live stream of just the birds without me talking on Monday and on Friday. I haven't figured out yet how I can live stream the birds and still work on the computer and do stuff. So if I started the live stream, also if I'm not talking in front of the camera, I still have I can still don't use the computer anymore. Otherwise you can hear everything I do on this computer. So I have to find a way to, then maybe I can live stream more often, because otherwise I can't work or do stuff. You can really hear the birds now singing. The more rattled bird is the parrot finch, which you can hear in the background singing to his female. Well, there's still no one who post a comment a question in the chat, so I keep on talking. And we will just wait if there's a question. There are some viewers I can see, so hopefully more will join in later. And then they were all quiet. Let me see. So if you have any suggestions for new species, again, let me know. I don't know if I will go back to star finches. I did these I didn't continue with these starfinch because 2 years in a row I didn't have any nest. So I donated them to a friend which has more starfinches, and maybe they can find he can create new pairs, because I don't think this pairs is there was a click between these male and female, so I have to see that. So if you have any suggestions, then I still have to see if it's available at the moment. And in the Netherlands, sometimes very hard to get a bird. I really still like the Gouldian Bleus, but finding them is really hard. And definitely at the moment we have the bird flu, so we are not allowed to transport birds. We will have to keep them inside. So, well, that's not super inconvenient for me, because I still didn't want any birds at the moment. Because of the big move we're gonna make. But I hope, I generally hope that this bird transport ban, if you can call it like that, will be gone when we are going to move to the other property, because then I just have to move my birds, and then it would be really nice to have some new species and some new birds. That's also the reason why I maybe don't want starfinches anymore. I just want to get into something new, learn a new species. Like I said, the Gouldian Bleu, I really want to give it a next try, a second try. And next to that, I really want a new species, but I don't know which species I really want. Let me check again. Oh yeah, there was also another questions in one of the bird live streams where I got all my quails from the last video. Well, most of the quails I have had over the years are sold again. I've rescued 2 sets of quails from the pet store. I really think pet stores just put all the quails they got together and they aren't get sold quick enough, so we've got a lot of bold quills, pecking to each other, having really wounds on their back from pecking other quills. So then sometimes I just buy the whole lot and make sure they get the rest, heal up a bit, and next molding seasons they get their feathers back, and then I sell them again or give them away to friends and family. I have 5 quills now left. 2 wild colored females, of which one is paired in this aviary you see now with a wild colored male. I have a golden pearl male, which is paired up with a cinnamon quill. That are the only ones I have left at the moment. I'm not sure what to do with the wild colored female which doesn't have a male. Maybe sell it. That's another thing I want to look into. If we go to the new property, we now only have button quills. We did had jungle quills in the past, and maybe we will go to another kind of species of quills alongside or in another aviary. So that are some choices I have to make the next couple of weeks, months. It's more months. So if you also have suggestions for some nice looking quills, I have seen, I think it's called the blue scaled quill. One of the viewers mentioned that in one of the comment sections to get a blue scaled quill, and that's also my favorite quill. I've seen them at the zoo for the first time, and I completely fell in love with them. But they're relatively hard to keep if you don't have enough space. And also they can sing really hard compared to button quills, so you don't want to have close by neighbors too much for that. I love to see that my Gouldian Finches are a little bit camera shy and just only showing their bodies and hiding their faces for the camera. I don't think I can. I can't change it at the moment. I already increased the light hours. So last time at around 4:15, the light will go off. And then slowly with the light from outside, the birds went to bed. I already, of course, the lights outside are long. It's longer lighter, if you say it like that. So the sun goes down later. So also the light in the aviary here is has more light hours, which will also. This also makes me do live streams later in the evening, so more people can join. It's of course a weekday, so a lot of people are at work. I'm fortunate enough that I can move my working hours a little bit, so I can do this in between or at different times of the day. Unfortunately, YouTube is not my full-time job. It would be nice if I have enough viewers and income to do this full-time and show you guys my birds full-time, then I really can expand. But I still have a weekly job, a day job. Let me see if I've got some topics written down to talk with you about. So we talked about why I keep finches. What's my favorite finch, which I don't really have. It's a little bit Gouldian Finch, but also the society finch because of his active behavior. My plans for this year. And really hoping for your input. The quills I've talked about. I had another question here which stated next to what's your favorite finch species, what's your favorite hookbill species. Well, I've in the cage next to me here I have two Aymara parakeets. Which I really love. Is it my favorite? I don't know. I have not a lot of experience. It's definitely one of the most cool looking hookbills, I would say. But I don't really have that much experience with them. I really like budgies because you can really tame them, but a lot of hookbills you can tame really easily. But yeah, the Aymara parakeets, also called gray-hooded parakeets, I think is my favorite just because I don't know a lot of other species. But I would like to have a colony bred parakeet aviary if possible. But then I really need to have a big aviary, or not complaining neighbors, or just really a property far away from any other neighbors. Although the gray-hooded parakeet, the Aymara parakeets, is really quiet compared to all the other parakeets. Two of them can make a lot of noise. So if you have a whole colony of them, I think it's just too crazy for now, and also for the new property. So we have to see about that. Do we have any other questions? Yeah, like I mentioned, put down in the comments at what time zone you're watching my videos, so I can tune this live stream to a couple of different time zones, mix it up a little bit, so I know when you're watching. Other questions which I can find. What I also want to do, and I don't know if I want to do this during the live streams, but I think if the live streams pick up a little bit more viewers, I really want to discuss some scientific results. I was a scientist myself. I'm not anymore, but I think it's really nice to dive into these papers and check out different studies there are done on, especially zebra finches, but also a lot of studies are done on Gouldian finches about their head color and their habitat. And for example, that red-headed Gouldian finches are bolder than the black-headed finches. I love to read them and maybe discuss them a little bit in one of these live streams. But we have to see if that's something also the viewers like, if you like it. So also comment below if you want to see that. Otherwise, maybe I will make some videos on the Mr. Aviary channel just discussing a particular topic, like for instance Gouldian Finch has colors. Don't know yet how I want to do that, but because it will take a lot of time in editing and getting that information, and I really do enjoy if I can discuss it with you guys live in a session like Let's Talk About Birds session like this. So let me know in the comments if you would like that. I got a couple of really nice papers about Zebra Finches song, and also Gouldian Finches, and a lot of other birds, but also a lot of Also, I think they can also be very useful for the hobby, if you just know these kind of things. And it's just fun to see if the same goes for your birds. One really easy one which I want to check out with my birds is that birds were drawn into Gouldian Finches with, for example, red heads are more drawn to Gouldian Finches with red heads. That's what I wanted to see in my aviary. So that's why I want a mix of red heads and black heads and bluebreasts, and just let them choose themselves to see if the results of the wild nature birds and the results as also captive birds can be comparable with my own birds. And I really would like to want to see if you guys have the same results as I have. So that's one thing I want to do in the live streams, maybe, or maybe some new videos. You also see the short videos. I've got some throwback Thursdays on the More Mr. Aviary channel. Short little videos about last year. And I will give out some more shorts in the next coming weeks. So that's something I want to do, the shorts videos, and also have some of the videos on my Facebook and Instagram, especially of the Throwback Thursday video. So I want to invest more in the other social media platforms. Especially Facebook is really small, but I would love to see a community grow on Facebook where we can chat and do stuff, help each other out. So that's also one thing I want to do, to put more effort and time in next coming months. But as I mentioned before, due to the move, hopefully in the months of April and May I still can put out some videos. But I'm mainly busy with getting my new property and house ready for both myself and the birds. Let me see if I can find another one of the fun facts I want to share with you. This is one I already had in one of my videos, but I really thought it was really funny to see. And I hope it's also true, because then this hobby is one of the oldest hobby. And then I have to check if I can excuse me. If I do it like this, yes. So another fun fact for you is that the oldest civilization known to have kept written records The Sumerians already had a word for birds' cages. Subura, I think you. So that means that keeping birds is one of the oldest hobbies, which is really fun. So my ancestors far away already kept birds, and we still do. Unfortunately, the male is just singing out of view. I think it's the red head. Yes, it's the red head, as always. Oh, he just heard me and did some steps to the side, so you can see him. It's really, yeah, how do you call it? It's lovely to see that the two males are fighting for the nest box, and the third male is just singing and impressing females. He doesn't have that much luck. It would be lovely to see if the males really do prefer the black-headed male, because I only have one black-headed male, and both females are black-headed females. So if it's true that they only breed with the ones with the same head color, if they have the choice, then they should both choose the same male. That's also why I want to have a couple of more color variants, and also, like I mentioned in the video about the Gouldian Finches, I've got a little bit too much white-breasted Gouldian Finches. I do not really prefer to breed a white-breasted male with a white-breasted female. But the chances that will happen now is big, because we have 3 white-breasted, 2 males and 1 female, so there's a good chance that they will. But due to their genetics, I prefer to have a mixed couple, but they can choose themselves, so we will see. It's also nice to see if next to head colors, breast colors also influence their choice, maybe. I've also seen some papers about that, but didn't read them yet. I see that we're already more than an hour in. I did go through all my questions I had in the chats and in the comments. I don't know if there are more questions from the viewers currently viewing, which aren't much, only 2 I see. Next Saturday is a new video on Mr. Aviary, which will be about conditioning your birds. Like I mentioned, it's February, so I start conditioning my birds, and I'll let you know a couple of steps I always take when conditioning my birds. Like I mentioned, I have now a little bit more than 10 years experience with a break in it with birds. I definitely don't know anything, and it's always lovely to learn from other breeders. Unfortunately, the last 2 years, I wasn't able to visit a lot of other breeders due to Corona, COVID. But we will see if next years I will visit a lot more, and I will take you guys along with me. Maybe interview them, or indeed ask them questions, ask them tips, which I can share with you again. So it's always lovely to see the comments with extra tips and tricks, which I will use. I also changed up some of the procedures this year. I put on the lights in the breeding cages to give them a little bit more light. Got some comments about it. That's a little bit dark in the breeding cages, so maybe that will help, because for now, last year I didn't have any chicks in the bird gallery, and I want to take all these tips to my new bird gallery at the new property, so every tip is welcome. And I think that's it for now. If you have any questions for the next coming live session, just post them in the comments if you're watching this later. If you have any tips on topics you want me to talk about, let me know. If you want to do the research papers, go through the research papers with me in the live session. Also let me know if you would like that. Comment some species you want me to have, and I think I see you in the next live stream again, and you know what I say: stay happy and always love your birds. Bye bye.